Okay, here we are at Ashton United's last home league game of the season. It's hard to believe it's come about so soon, really, with manager Danny Johnson. Thanks again for taking some time out to talk to us, Danny. Just start really just by clearing up one issue, which was there's been a lot said recently about Rod Thornley sort of playing for Witton and also a few of our players sort of signed on for them. Is there anything you'd like to say just to clarify that, really?
I just think the first thing I was really disappointed with what I read on the forum with regards to Rod, Ben Deeg and Frosty and Pat McFadden initially signing for Altrincham. I've got a good relationship with Graham Heathcote. I've got a good relationship with Dave Pace at Draws. I've got a good relationship with Neil Tolson. And if any of those people would ask me, I'd done the same for them. It's just that's what happens in non-league football. You come to the end of the season, we're all in the same boat. We're all financially can't bring the players in, so I just, I did Graham a favour. Graham's done me lots and lots of favours. I remember a few years ago at Trafford, he let me have Pat McFadden and he let me have Lee Hendley, and let me have 2 or 3 others, and when we was just another. So these favours come around from time to time. But with regards to Rod, I think the issue was raised by obviously Steve-O on the website. Steve-O, by all accounts, is a Droylsden fan who has gotten, who says he's got an affinity for Droylsden but watches Ashton. Well, footballs are no different. Rod Thornley's played X amount of 100 games for Altrincham Football Club. He's scored X amount of goals for Altrincham Football. He's there for 6 or 7 years. He's got an affinity for Altrincham Football Club as well. And when he asked me, and he just said, look, if there's a problem, Dan, I'll be at Witton and we'll play against Witton, no problem whatsoever. He said, look, I've got a chance playing in front of 2,500 people in a conference game at the racecourse ground, Wrexham. And I said, and I weighed everything up. It's not sort of decision that I just made, Dave. Yeah, no problem. I sort of had to think about it. I said, well, leave it with Rod, and I had to think about it. And I spoke to Graham Heathcote, and Graham was just saying, Danny, if you need him at your game on Monday at Witton, no problem. And it wasn't an issue. I just said, yeah, no problem, because I think it was a little bit disrespectful as well to the players we've got at the football club. Ben Deeg and Gaz Richards both got 2 apiece. Gaz has been chomping at the bit and deserved his chance to play. Deegs, we all know about Deegs. I've got Robbie Talbot, who scored X amount of hundreds of goals in non-league football. We've got Ross Thacker on the bench. We've got Danny Caldicott on the bench. I knew that I wasn't going to be left short. If I was going to be left short, there was no way I would have done it to the detriment of Ashton United Football Club. I've got a job to do here, and I do the job to the best of my ability. And I make decisions, and like I said, I get decisions wrong lots and lots of times, and I get them right. And I'm not saying I got the decision right, but it wasn't a decision that affected this football club. It was a decision that was personal to Rod Thornley, helping Altrincham come out of a situation because they were struggling for forwards. And it was a decision that I took, and I just appreciate it. Especially, I know Trevor got involved in it as well. People can come and talk to me if they've got issues. They don't have to go sort of, spreading things on a website. I'm quite an open manager, and I've proven that at Ashton United Football Club. And I just think if people would have come and spoke to me, rather than sort of saying we're at odds with our manager. Well, you're not at odds with your manager. I made a decision. That's what I'm employed to do by the football club, make decisions. And over the 2 years I've been here, I'd like to think I've made a lot of good ones, made some bad ones, but I've made a lot of good ones. And I think the team we've got on the pitch at the minute proved that. Yeah,
I think most people as well will probably point to the result as well, and the fact that the 2 forwards selected got the goals and did really well.
Yeah, they did, but it wasn't. It's not about. If we'd have got beat, it wouldn't have been about that, because I've got belief in Gaz and Deegs to play at this level. I've also got belief in Robbie Talbot and Ross Thacker to come on and cause problems in the last third. So if we'd have got beat, it still wouldn't have been an issue for me. And let's face it, yes, as a manager, I want to pick up as many points as I possibly can. But we're in a position where we couldn't get into the playoffs. We're nice and safe in relegation. So there wasn't. To me, it wasn't a big decision, and I think it got blown out of all proportion.
Okay. It was a good result, wasn't it? A great result against Witton Albion. I know they're struggling down there, but to come back with that kind of performance after a run of defeats, must have been pretty pleased with the players, and now looking forward to challenging yourselves against the league leaders.
Yeah, this group of players never sort of never met. They'll never surprise me. What they can achieve when they set their minds to it and come together. They never surprise me. We've been a lot of people I was speaking to saying, Danny, where's our next win going to come from after being beaten 4 times on the run? And mine says that is the next game, because I just believe this group of players, once they come together and they do the right things, and the cohesive unit, and the win's only around the corner. It's the next game, and I don't think we played particularly well against Witton. I thought Witton were well below par, and I just think the thing we did was we put the balls into the right areas and got Gareth Richards and Ben Deegan in behind their defence on a number of occasions, which caused them untold problems, and once we'd got the second goal, I just thought it was a bit. It could have gone on to be 7, 8, 9. You name the score. Yeah, but it was good. Just the biggest thing, big plus for me was to bounce back after 4 defeats, especially after Good Friday, when I thought we were much better on Good Friday than we were on Monday. To be fair, we get beat 5-1 off Kendal, but that just went to show the calibre of the opposition we was facing. But today will be a big test for us. Eastwood are a very, very good side. They're not top of the league at this moment in time for no apparent reason. They've got lots and lots of good players. I know a lot about them. They'll know a lot about us, because I know John Ramshaw and Paul Cox do the homework. And good luck to them. I think they've had a great season. We want to spoil the party, make no bones about that. We don't want them to be throwing champagne about all over the show here at Earth Cross today. But good luck to them. I do hope they go up this season, and I'm sure, in fact I'm positive, that if they do go up this season, then they'll do very, very well in the Conference North, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're going to be in the top 5 or 6 in the Conference North next season, because they've got a very good manager, they've got a very good assistant manager, a very good group of players. They're a well supported club, they're well backed, they've got everything in place to become a real force in that league, and then in a couple of years' time maybe even get themselves into the conference. So good luck to them. They've done well over the season. Any team to do what they've done over the season, be top of the pile with 80 points, whatever it is, then good luck to them. They've done very well.
As we are coming towards the end of the season, of course, what's your take on the season as a whole? Are you quite pleased in the end? I mean, it's highly likely. I think it would take a silly series of results now for us not to finish in the top half. Well, it is still possible for 1 or 2 teams to catch us, but you're quite pleased with the way the season's gone as a whole? I
think the biggest disappointment has been the injury situation. I know a lot of managers will say that, but I think it's been absolutely ridiculous, the amount of injuries and bits and pieces, suspensions, and people missing for one reason or for another over the season. And I honestly believe we'd be another 12 points minimum better off if it wasn't for losing Craig Robinson, Ian Kearney, Danny Caldicott, Matty O'Neill, Ben Deegan, and as I speak today, I think I've got 8 or 9 players out today who aren't available for selection. I counted them up on Monday, and I had 10 players out that weren't available. Callum Flanagan's, Nicky Prescott's, Hayden Eames, and there's a few more as well. But it's been real disappointment. That's been the biggest disappointment for me over the season, because I really do believe we'd have been in better shape at this stage of the season had those injuries not occurred. It's part and parcel, granted. Obviously the budget cut in February come as a bit of a blow. It was at a stage when we still had a big chance of getting ourselves into the playoffs. And it was at a time when perhaps we needed to go and bring in 1 or 2 extra players to give us that extra impetus and enthusiasm to go forward. That wasn't to be, but that's another big disappointment. But overall, last season we finished. This time last season we had to win to keep our status in the Premier League. That happened sort of 10 games ago. So as a difference there, that's a massive difference. Points wise, we're only 9 points better off than we were last season. However, I think the league's a lot stronger. If we'd have had this team last year, I think we'd have finished in the top 7 or 8 without any question whatsoever. You can't say that, but I think that is the case, because we're a lot stronger as a team. We've got lots. The players who were here last year have got a year more experience. We also brought the likes of Alex Frost, Terry Smith, Craig Robinson, Ian Kearney into the football club, who have improved us tenfold. And I think the biggest thing is we've kept a squad of about 22. Injuries, obviously taken into account, we've kept this sort of nucleus of players playing for us week in, week out. And without sort of not mixed and matched too much. I've not had to just go and sign players for signing players' sake, and I think that's a big part of the way I like to manage a football club, is to try and keep us a together unit and keep us together. And I think I've done that. So overall, very, very pleased with the season. Yes, it could have been a lot better, but it could have been a bit worse as well. But no, overall happy. Not 100% happy, but it could have been a lot worse. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks very much again for that. Hopefully we can finish off in style and then enjoy a well-earned break.
Yeah, thanks Dave, thanks for your time. Thank you very much for everything.
Cheers, no problem.